Hey guys, EBPMAN here. Now this is the next video that you all have requested, and this time we're looking at the Sony WF1000XM4s compared to the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. We're going to do an EBPMAN style call quality test. We're going to do audio tests. We'll compare all the features so you can see which one sounds the best and which one performs the best when it comes to call quality, as well as some of the other features as well. So let's go ahead and check them out. Now from a battery perspective, both of these earbuds do extremely well and they're very close, but the Sony does leap ahead in one specific area. First of all, both of these are going to give you 8 hours of usage. The difference though is that that's 8 hours of usage with active noise canceling on. This is the big deal. When you turn off active noise canceling, this blows up to 12 hours of usage. So really, they have superior battery life than you have over here with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. From a charging perspective though, from a case, you're looking at 24 hours with the case. Over here, you're looking at 28 hours. You both have 5 minutes give you a fast charge of 1 hour usage. So both of them do really well in that area. Now, from a Bluetooth perspective, you have 5.0 versus 5.2. So Sony does have the newer Bluetooth signal, or I would say version, but both of them are going to perform well when it comes to syncing of music and audio and all those things. So you really don't have to worry about, the differences aren't that significant. Now, from using them independently, both of them can be used independently as well. So if you want to be able to have one in your ear and one out of your ear, you have no problem there either. Now, the other thing is that both of these support 3D high definition audio. So you have really great audio experiences, but it really comes when the Samsung, it's really tied to the Samsung ecosystem, so you have to have a newer version of the phone in order to be able to support that 3D HD audio. Both of them have auto pause capabilities, and both of them have active noise canceling. Even though this one has a couple levels that they highlight, really, there's no competing. Sony just does a better job when it comes to active noise canceling. From a fit perspective and a passive noise canceling, they both do fantastically well. Now from a transparency mode, and I'm going to talk about auto transparency mode and then standard transparency mode. Auto transparency mode, they both perform really well. That means as soon as you start talking, it kind of stops the music or whatever's going on so that you can hear what's going on around you. They both perform really well. But Samsung has what I would consider super hearing when it comes to transparency mode. So if you do suffer from any kind of hearing impediment, this may or may not help. All I would say is that you do have a boost mode in this, which amplifies, and there's actually an extra setting inside of the app that allows you to boost it even further. So this one is much louder than this one. This one sounds a little bit more natural though, but it's not as loud. Now from a mic perspective, you do have 2 mics with the bone conduction sensor that's supposed to increase or improve audio quality when you're speaking. And then on this side, what you have is 3 mics. But we're going to see in the call quality test how well they compare. Now from an IPX rating perspective, yeah, Samsung takes it. You have an IPX version of 7 versus an IPX version of 4. Now from a case perspective, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro really have the Sony beat. Really from a size perspective, super small and compact. So I really like the size here. I prefer that over the Sony. Both of these use USB-C for charging. Both of them have wireless charging. And both are going to keep your earbuds securely inside of the case. So they're not going to fall out, and they're both magnetically guided. Now each of these earbuds has a different look to it, and it also has a different feel. So if you look at these, the actual Galaxy Buds Pro are much smaller. They do have the same contact points, they have sensors, they have all that jazz going on there, but you can see the size difference is significant. The other thing is from a weight perspective also there's a significant difference. These are extremely much more lighter, and they have similar gels, right? This one has more of like a comply foam, this one has a silicone, but it does have some squishiness to them. As we put these on so you can see what they look like, we're going to put this one on here, and then I'm going to put this one on here. Really, the Samsungs are, they're just much more low profile. So you can see right here how it disappears when I'm looking just straight ahead, and how the other ones the Sonys just stand out because they're so much larger. I'm going to turn to each side so you can see the difference. So if I were to say which one do I prefer from a fit perspective, I really prefer the Samsungs. The Samsungs low profile, disappear, and you can see as I turn my head a little bit to the left or to the right, you just can't tell that they're there. Because also they're smaller, they tend to really feel nicely. You can notice how flush they are, so they get, for me, just in my ear better, and they just feel overall better than you have with the Sonys themselves. But keep in mind, it doesn't mean that the Sonys are not comfortable. It's just that as you're comparing them, you can see the big difference. So guys, the next thing we want to talk about is audio quality. What was my experience? Well, we talked about active noise canceling. I do think that the Samsung Galaxy Buds do a great job for active noise canceling, but the Sonys really have the superior. So they're going to be the ones to beat. The one area also, as we talk about audio, there's really a big difference. And you're going to hear this in the audio track. Take a close listen because the mics are capturing the difference. The Sonys sound loud, they're bright. There's some bass there, but they're not as, they're a little bit more on the bright side. The actual Sonys have a fuller sound. It's just more throatier. So everything just sounds more immersive. So I would give them a little bit more broader of a soundstage. So for those of you who are really looking for superior audio experience, then this is going to give you that superior audio experience. And it just slightly, you know, the Samsungs are just, you know, not there. So that is going to really depend on your hearing preference and what you can pick up. But again, I give it to the Sonys when it comes to audio as well.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell
Now next we're going to do a call quality test of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro in a quiet environment. If you take a look at our decibel readings, anywhere between 22 and 28 decibels of noise. It's going to switch. Now this is what the call quality would sound like making a phone call on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro in a quiet environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're going to add some wind to the environment. Now this is what the Galaxy Buds Pro sound like if you had wind in the environment. This is what they would sound like if there was wind in the environment. Now next we're testing out the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro if you were wearing a face mask. So this is what they would sound like if you had a face mask on. Now we're in a much noisier environment, and you can see that our decibel readings are anywhere between 39 and all the way up to 80 something decibels in noise. What we're going to do is switch over to the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. We're going to stay quiet for a little bit and see how much is canceled. This is what the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro sound like in a noisy environment. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. This is our test. We're continuing our test of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, but this time with an infant crying in the background. This is what they sound like if an infant was crying in the background. Now, if you're worried about what the Samsung Galaxy Buds would sound like with a dog barking in the background, this is what they would sound like if a dog were barking in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they sound like if a doorbell was to ring in the background and you're in a call, this is what they would sound like if there's a doorbell ringing. Now, next we're going to do our call quality test of the Sony WF1000XM4s in a quiet environment. Let's take a look at our decibel readings. Anywhere between 20 and 28 decibels of noise. It's going to switch. Now, this is what the call quality would sound like when making a phone call on the Sony WF1000XM4s in a quiet environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now, we're going to add wind to the environment. This is what the Sony WF1000XM4s sound like in a windy environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. This is what the Sony WF1000XM4s sound like in a windy environment. Now we're continuing our test of the Sony 1000XM4s, but this time with the face mask on. This is what they sound like with the face mask on. Now we're continuing our audio test, but this time in a noisy environment. As you can see by our decibel readings, we have anywhere between 40 and 78 decibels of noise. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to the Sony 1000XM4s. We're going to stay quiet, and then we're going to continue to record the audio coming from the voice, just to see how much is being canceled out. Let's go and switch. Now this is what the call quality would sound like when making a phone call with the Sony 1000XM4s in a noisy environment. This is our test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're continuing our test of the Sony 1000XM4s, but with an infant crying in the background. This is what they would sound like with an infant crying in the background. We're continuing our test of the Sony 1000XM4s, but this time with a dog barking in the background. This is what they would sound like if a dog were barking in the background. Now we're continuing our test of the Sony 1000XM4s, but with a doorbell ringing in the background. This is what they would sound like if a doorbell was ringing in the background. So guys, that wraps up our comparison review between the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro and the Sonys. See you in the next one.